Ketramose, the New Dawn, a new Egyptian god card in Standard. It is a 3-mana 4/4 legendary creature god with Menace, Lifelink, and Indestructible. Ketramose can't attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile, which means you tap out on turn 3, you play this, it can't do anything. It is useless. Remember that by playing in Standard. Whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn only, you draw a card and lose a life. This is a weird card, right? Its most similar card would be the Unholy Annex. You drop it on 3. It kind of does nothing, except you're guaranteed that first draw, which is nice, although you lose 2 life immediately. And then the only thing you need to do to flip the Annex is you need to hit your 5th land and flip it and you get a demon. If your opponent's not tapped out, maybe they kill the demon, you still get the draw. If they are tapped out, you get the demon and the life, and you can kind of push from there. This is the most similar card to what Ketramose is kind of doing. In theory, if you flip this thing, instead of getting 2 life per turn off the Annex, you get a 4/4 lifelink, which could attack or block. It's got Menace, it's going to get in there, it's indestructible. It's pretty interesting from that standpoint. One of the weird hangups is, like I said, you only get the draw effect if you exile, or if 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards or the battle during your turn. So that means you're forced to do things on your own turn. You can't hold open mana as easily to do things on your opponent's turn, but if you do the thing, you draw a card. I think what is most interesting about this card, well, first off, I found it tough to play around. The reason I haven't posted in a couple days is, 1, I haven't been sleeping well, and 2, I just haven't been, because I haven't been sleeping well, I haven't been playing well, which means I didn't really like the games I was recording. And then I was looking up what other people had done with this card, and all the thumbnails are like, this card is busted, this card is broken, and those decks are garbage, absolute garbage. So I was kind of frustrated with that. But I think having played around with this for a while, what's interesting about this card is not the card itself, but that it forces you to build a deck you might want to build otherwise, because you're incentivized to play a lot of graveyard hate, which is something you want to be doing in Standard these days with things like the Omniscience decks. And you also actually want to put in a lot of life gain, because it's pretty hard to get the offset. Like, getting up to 7 and attacking with your lifelink creature is not really as effective as having just demons on the battlefield you want anyway, gaining you life every turn. So you're forced to kind of build a deck that exiles graveyards and also gains you life just to survive, which is kind of something you should be aspiring to do in Standard anyway. So what I've done here is, obviously you want the Ghost Vacuum in there in some quantity, because it is a 0 mana way to exile stuff. Although, again, if you want the card draw, you have to do it on your own turn, which is annoying. But I also think you want some kind of life gain source in there to combat the 1 life until you can finally flip this thing to the lifelink Menace Indestructible creature version. So I got 3 copies of Authority of the Consuls, which isn't a bad card. Gains you a lot of life. It's really good against Pixies, which kind of nickel and dime you to death, and pretty good against Mono Red in a lot of cases. It's not the same as removal, but I think it's interesting, and I like it with Ketramose. In the 2-drop slot, my favorite card is Cease. This is a really flexible card. You can always, just for 2 mana at instant speed, exile up to 2 cards from a single graveyard. Target player gains 2 life and draws a card. So you basically cycle this card away and gain 2 life. Again, note it's at instant speed, but if you have Ketramose and you want the draw effect, you actually have to do it on your own turn, which is kind of annoying. The flip side is crazy. 6 mana to destroy all artifacts and enchantments will end the game versus all sorts of opponents in Standard, especially with Aetherdrift coming out and like the Synthesizer being probably a decently played card. This just obliterates that deck. So I think it's a very cool card to play in Standard today. I'm also playing the Virtue of Persistence, which you might think is weird. Why not run all the Anoint with Afflictions if we're trying to exile stuff off of Ketramose? But actually, Virtue of Persistence is really good. It gains you life, which is something I think you have to do to offset the Ketramose. You can't just like impale yourself on the Ketramose and kill yourself. You do need a way to gain life before this thing flips. And when you play it, it immediately goes into exile, which means it counts towards your 7 cards that can help you enable Ketramose to attack and block. I've got 1 Edict in there because it's going to be a little bit hard to deal with Planeswalkers, so we also have 4 Cottages in the mana base. And then Anoint with Afflictions, this is the most obvious card to pair with Ketramose because you get that exile effect. Again, if you want the draw, you have to do it on your turn, which is not ideal, but such is life. 3-drop slot, if you're going to be tapping out for a 3-drop that does not impact the battlefield and loses you life every turn, you probably better run some sweepers. So I got 4 sweepers here, all that exile, 2 temporary lockdowns, and 2 malicious eclipses. If a creature and opponent would control die this turn, exile it instead. Lockdown is good, but interesting because it is going to sweep up like our Ghost Vacuum or Consoles, which you might have played on 1, so you have to be a little bit careful about that. And the Crucible Flanker, just an interesting card. Can exile a player's graveyard, which obviously pairs with Ketramose. Just note, again, you have to do it on your own turn, otherwise you don't get the draw effect. But you can also just flash it in, scry, and gain some life, which is also pretty good. I think it's a decent 3-drop. Then, again, since we're playing a card on 3 that does not impact the battlefield and loses you life every turn for a while, I think you have to stabilize the board on 4, so I'm going with 4 Beza. It kind of does all the things. Most importantly, it stabilizes you, but if you're down on cards, you draw a card. If you're down on creatures, you get some blockers. If you're down on life, you get some life. And if you're down on lands, you get a treasure. It really does all the things, and I think stitches together the deck quite well. And the final card, which I think is really good, is Deadly Cover-Up. You destroy all creatures, but of course, your Ketramose is indestructible, so it itself is not destroyed. And then, if you can pay the evidence cost, which is very easy to do with Cease, because this is a 8 mana card as far as the graveyard is concerned, you can then look through the opponent's graveyard, exile a card, and then strip that card out of their entire deck. I think this card's really good. In a control deck, like, the sweep effect is nice and great, perhaps, but what's really good is just digging through your opponent's deck and just stripping out all the cards that could possibly beat you. So this is a weird deck. I'm not so sure that Ketramose is amazing in Standard for the reasons I described. It's a 3-drop that doesn't impact the battlefield, and it doesn't quite give you the payoff as quickly or as lucratively life-wise as the Annex, but it kind of forces you to play a deck you should maybe be building anyway, a control deck that hits the graveyard and gains you life, and also can strip key cards out of your opponent's deck. So here we go. We're trying it out. Some of these games are kind of sleepy. I don't think I'm playing at my best. I think I'm feeling better today. Sorry for the missed videos, but yeah, enjoy the gameplay. Let's dive right in. On the draw with 26 lands. You think we'll get there, right? Ooh, we got the Ghost Vacuum too. I don't think we need to play it out immediately though. Let's have Cease and Desist. Interesting. Alright, so let's just not show the Cease and Desist. I don't know if we should show Ghost Vacuum either. I think we just hold Soul Partition or do nothing. Maybe they go right into Synth. We can just Soul Partition it away. Braided Net. I mean, Cease and Desist is going to annihilate them. And they have no pressure. So I think we're just chilling. I don't think there's any reason to do anything here. I don't even think we need to get down to Ghost Vacuum. Like, we just wait till turn 6 to Cease and Desist. And just do that 3 more times, then eventually they scoop. Sure. I mean, we're gonna annihilate you when it's time. That's interesting. Do we even play Beza here? I guess so. We could wait for a Braided Net turn. But this starts to put on pressure. And if they exile it with a removal spell, we'll get it back off Cease and Desist, so I think it's fine to put one down. Game over on turn 1. They just don't know it yet. Nice. So what are the ways we could possibly lose? Like if they can deck us somehow? I don't think they'll be able to. Plan it, just get a big Braided Net turn, I guess. We'd like to see some synths come down before we Cease and Desist. Yeah, we can attack, let them draw a card. I guess we could start to get some pressure down, though. Just Virtue it away. Let's see what Surveil has to say. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, we gotta win eventually. They get the draw, which is fine. I mean, I think honestly milling them is as legitimate a way to win as anything else. They tap this down. Sure. Go wild, dude. You can have as many turns as you want. Okay. Sure. 2 draw spells down. I think they will end up decking themselves. Or scooping. We can power up the flanker to start attacking every turn. Oh, sorry, the fortress. I think that's fine. I'm not in any rush, really. We could scry, look for Ketramose. But I think basically they just need to deck themselves. They let us move to combat. That's interesting. Okay, tap you down after the fact. Not so helpful. Okay, making progress. There's a world where we cease and desist, and the next 3 cease and desists are the bottom 3 cards of the deck. This is why we played the beta, because we know we'll get it back. Might even get some triggers off it too. We'd like to see some synth though before we cease and desist. I guess we'll flank on their turn and just take the scry. Otherwise, just chilling. Let's see what comments you guys got. I have a feeling we know exactly how this game is going to go. Voyage home, the 3rd one. Alright, they're almost out of draw power besides the braided nets. With respect to the plant deck, Insidious Roots, I do think that in our current meta, we're seeing more and more reanimation decks, and we need some graveyard hate. Have you considered adding Scavenging Ooze? It can instantly remove a card from your opponent's graveyard, let you remove a card from your own graveyard, and get bigger in the process. Yes, I considered everything, dude. That deck is really hard to build competitively for the exact reason I said that you need creature removal to even show up to standard. And then the best creature removal are all instants and sorceries. Largely instants like Cut Down and Go for the Throat type things, or flash enchantments, whatever. And none of those are creatures. And you need creatures to make Insidious Roots work. So it's almost impossible to make that deck competitive in Best of 1 standard for that reason. Because your removal is going to suck. So I consider the Ooze along with all sorts of stuff, but it's really just not good enough. I guess ideally we find an answer to the Anchorage. I don't think they can beat us over the head enough with that. Okay. Also does not help them. Alright, let's flank here. Just take some scries. I don't think we need the lockdown. I think we'll take Ketramose, though. And then probably next turn, we'll get our first wipe going. I guess we could attack here. Do they want to block with the Market Gnome? They might not. We don't really care. Again, we're still just playing to deck them, basically. Last braided net trigger coming down. Sure. Okay. Next comment about the plant deck. First Strike exists. Dude, you don't have to tell me. I told you, it's a very hard deck to build competitively in Standard. Death Touch is the best I could possibly come up with. And I said this in the intro. It's like, it does not solve Double Strike, which I encompass First Strike inside of. So, yeah, it's a huge issue. I've been debating talking about this, but let's see how to phrase this. I don't even know if I'm gonna go into it. Sometimes when I look for ideas about decks, I'll search on YouTube and see if other people have come up with stuff, and there's some pretty clickbaity titles out there, including on any Insidious Roots deck. Like this is busted, this breaks standard, or whatever. I try to steer away from that. One of the reasons I like win rates and ranking is they are 100% factual. So if, in fact, I did win 89% of games on a day with the deck, I can put that in the thumbnail. I don't feel bad about that. It is factual. I'd much rather say that than be like, this deck is this deck breaks standard, and have it just be some bullshit deck. But yeah, sometimes it frustrates me because I see other thumbnails and I'm like, I mean, I could say this shit. It ain't true, but I could say it. So if we deadly cover up here, it's not that bad because it gives us more time to see more artifacts. So I think that makes sense to me. And we just keep on waiting for the big cease and desist turn. We could attack here first, but they'll just take the block. Doesn't matter. But yeah, to continue on that thought, like, I have been experiencing some frustration the past couple of days because I feel conflicted. Part of it is my fault. I said this last month, but when you get to rank 1 Mythic, or you get to Mythic at all on the first day, the rest of the season, the month, is a lot harder. Especially when new cards come out, because what I want to do is try out new cards for you guys. But if I'm perpetually playing against the highest ranked players, those players are inherently playing the best decks, which are basically mono red and mono black and omniscience, and so that really limits the things you can possibly do with new cards. And so it's hard to make videos with compelling titles because almost no new cards will functionally alter the meta. Like if it doesn't beat mono red, you can't play it. Like it's not worth playing. You can play it in bronze, you can play it in silver, you can play it in gold, you can play it in the play queue. But platinum, diamond, mythic, you probably can't really play that card if the way you have fun is by winning games. If the way you have fun is just by playing, then you can do whatever you want. But it's hard otherwise. So I shot myself in the foot, and I knew that I would because I've made that. I wouldn't call it a mistake, but I've seen it happen before. So I knew when I hit rank 1 Mythic this past month that right before the set release, like it was gonna be a tough month. But it's also hard to like create compelling titles because I can either lie to your face, be like, this deck is crazy, you won't believe this deck, or I can be like, I think I also can't say in the intro, this deck's not gonna be very good. I already know it's not gonna be very good because intellectually, like I can look at a deck list and know immediately like if it's competitive in best of 1 standard or not. And so I try to be honest at the end of the videos, at least at the bare minimum. If I can be honest at the end of the video, I'm okay with that. It's weird. All right, I think this is our first synth turn, unless we really want to soul partition the 10-10 and keep waiting, which is also completely acceptable, I think. Which, yeah, I think we'll just stick with that. And we're just waiting as long as we can. They put on 0 pressure so far. It's weird. Like, yeah, like I said, that's one of the reasons I like putting rank and win rate on thumbnails, is because it is factually true and it is successful at getting views without lying to your face, which I don't want to do. Like, I really hate thumbnails that just oversell a deck, and I'll click on the video, and in the first 2 seconds I look at the deck and I know this is like terrible. And part of the issue is that if I thought you guys didn't make any decisions based on what I said, then maybe I could justify to myself lying to your face about that stuff. But the fact that some maybe non-zero, maybe non-trivial amount of you guys are actually spending your own money on wildcards to craft these decks means that I really don't like that. So I feel like I simultaneously have to play a different deck every day to entertain you, but it has to be a catchy title, otherwise you won't click on it. But lying isn't very good, but also, you're potentially making financial decisions based on these things. So it's a lot to balance, and I try to do the best I can with it, but it does definitely irk me when I see really catchy titles and like, I know the deck's not good. Let's see if they scoop here. We still got 3 more synths to go. Scoop. All right. We could have done that. If we could have shown them our hand, they would have scooped on turn 2, but we got a nice little rant. It's complicated. I try to do the best way I can with it. I like at the end of videos, if I have good energy, I'll talk a little at the end and explain if a deck is actually good or not. But the reality is, like, most new cards from the set probably won't impact standard that much. And I called that in the set review. You guys asked for the 2.5 hour set review. I made a 2.5 hour set review. I went through every single card. And I remember one comment was like, you're being really pessimistic and really negative. And I didn't really think I was being negative. I thought I was just being realistic. And probably almost everything I called out was exactly right. Like if it's slow and does nothing to impact the battlefield, it probably won't make it into best of 1 standard. And if it doesn't compete with mono red or mono black or omniscience, then it also probably doesn't make it into best of 1 standard. And that's just like the situation. It doesn't mean you can't have fun with new cards, doesn't mean you can't try things out, but it's a sticky spot to be in. And I don't think I ever used to have a problem with that before because I didn't go to Mythic so fast. I would take a whole month to go from Platinum and slowly get up to Mythic, and inherently I would play worse opponents, and so I could do a different deck every day and have more success because my opponents were not all playing top meta decks and also were a lower quality of opponent. But in racing to Mythic, I put myself in this weird position where I can get a lot of views by demonstrating, hey, I'm good at the game. I got to rank 1 Mythic. Here, watch this. But also the rest of my month is like, whew. So at least now we're at 93% Mythic. Like I've lost a lot of games the past couple days. So I think I'm playing against worse and worse opponents, which gives me more freedom to try new cards, and that's good. But The way down is rough. Losing lots of games over and over and over is rough. My rant is over. Let's play some more games. On the play. This is okay. I like consoles. Alright. Let's see what Damer's up to. Frogs. Frog tribal. One to the bottom. Okay, we got a tap land down here. We can play the next consoles. We don't really have a reason not to. If they're at all, is it prowess or haste? They're gonna have some real troubles. Free 2 life. Let's see what's on top. Definitely have stick. Hopefully they can't get through virtue persistence. I kind of doubt it. They could play like dive down. Opponent taking their time here though. On the surveil. Yeah, I don't think we need that in this matchup really. Alright, let's just slow them down. They could shock their own creature so they don't have virtue later in the game. But they don't. We go up to 24. We've got a whole lot of life to play with. Okay. Ketramose. We might as well play you out now. I think that's fine. Could get bounced. 1 card exiled so far. What are we doing here, Damer? Touching things, touching the talent. Just trying to draw cards. Disdainful stroke, eh? Alright, let's take a draw here. See if we can hit some land. That counts as land. Could start attacking with the cottage soon. I wonder what the counterspells they run. Or how many even. Thunderclap Trainer. We're going crazy with life gain here. Next, Pearl of Wisdom. Should we attack with the cottage? It's not awful. Also, we flank and just scry to more stuff. That's fine too, I guess. I don't really feel the need to put on that much pressure. We're sitting at 27. With a sweeper and a flanker. The question is, how many negates do they run? The 29. The hard counterspell. Okay, well, that's a little more interesting. So now they're just going to sit here and develop counterspells for the rest of the game. We actually do need to put on pressure now. Maybe the cottage comes into play this coming turn. Especially if they counter the flanker. Alright, let's see if they counter this. If they do, we can power up the cottage. They do counter that. That's fine by me. The next consoles. Well, the sweeps here is not bad, actually. We take all their counters. That's fine, actually. I think we want these counters gone. It's got a whole bunch of them. What else is in here? Lightning Strike. I mean, we're pretty good. With the counter gone, that's huge. There's another Disdainful Stroke in the hand. Ketramose is turned on. We draw a card. Hit land for turn. Beza could draw us cards. I think it's relevant to keep. Do we drop the next console? I'm not sure we do. We might want to lock down the board at some point. So with the counters gone and double consoles on the board, I don't know if they can get us dead. I mean, they need a big fleet of prowess things, or they need their Planeswalker to ult. Luckily, we have the Cottage to attack down the Planeswalker at some point. So that's kind of what we need to navigate. We need enough mana to basically both. They can Disdainful Stroke it, mana value 4 greater. It's not a Beza turn, that's for sure. I don't know if they're going to counter this on the way back down. Definitely no Beza here. Okay. Dude's just going to hold open Disdainful Stroke for the rest of the game. But that means we get the cottages going, which is not so bad. Here comes cottage number 1. Maybe they double lightning strike it. Or just bounce it. Bounce the Ketramose so we don't get the card draw. Fine. I don't think it really matters what we pick here. Ideally, we take all the Flood Maws out of their deck next with like the next Deadly Cover-Up. So we want to leave cards down there that we're secure about. I don't know if we need to exile anything really. I mean, they're also afraid of Virtue Persistence. Oh, we have so much left to play with here. I guess we could try to bait them. If they don't want to counter the Beza, we get a free Virtue. They only have one counter spell left. And I don't know how good... I guess ideally we Deadly Cover Up away all the Into the Flood Maws. And then we work our way through the counter with Beza. And then we slam Virtue Persistence. And it's not like there are that many creatures down there, but I think that'd be decent value. We'll eat the food. Technically, we could save it for card draw if we top deck the land. Let's just sack tokens. Sitting pretty here. Okay, let's see if we can get a... Let's see if we can get that one counterspell out of the hand. I think it's possible. I mean, they want to counter Virtue. So there's the counter, and we actually have the next Beza ready to go. And we can slam Virtue Persistence next turn and just get back infinite Bezas for the rest of the game. Draw a card. I don't think we need Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, I think we want to... I mean, we don't really... If they kill Beza with double Lightning Strike, we could Deadly Cover Up and just try to take all of the Into the Flood Maws. Although I'm not sure how good Virtue Persistence is. I think they'll just bounce it. I'm just not really sure they can beat us. They're double authority of the consoles. Since we're sitting at 34. Plus the creature line. I think there's almost too much going on for them to come back. It's got to be a huge Planeswalker ult to get there. Alright, so they are going to kill this now. So we could tap out for Virtue here. They have 2 Flood Mods down there, so there's 2 left in the deck. I think it's pretty reasonable. Or we could Ketramose first, and then sweep and take all the into the Flood Moss. And then we can drop Virtue with no cost. Pretty cool tech to use this card this way. All right, I think it's at the Flood Maw here. 2 in the library. None of the Dangerous Lightning Strikes. Oh, I think we got him here. So now nothing can bounce Virtue Persistence. And they're at 12 anyway. Draw 2 cards. Hit land for turn. We have nothing to do with white. I don't know if there's any point in doing Ghost Vacuum. I think we can just chill on that. We could still lock down something. I mean, with double Lightning Strike and we're at 31, I don't think they can come back from this. As long as we don't deck. We're at 34, they're at 23. I think we're pretty good here. I mean, that raw ultimate turn would be big. This could be a good lockdown turn. That's fine. Could even power up the cottage and attack. Because they want to play Lightning Strike and make a bunch of otters. But this totally shuts that down. Scoop. Too much, man. Systematically dismantled. They had nothing left there. On the play. That's what I want to see. I want to see that every game. I don't want to be on the draw anymore. Bevan 86. Hanging out. Not doing a whole lot over there. Alright, here we go. Black. Okay. Technically we should hold on for the bad here. It'd be nice if our 26 land deck would give us the 3rd one. I would find that quite charming. Oh my gosh, it's a zombie. Pay 2 life. I think we're doing it now. If we don't hit the land, we could wait. We could take 2. Maybe we'll take 2 here. It's not a land. I think we'll just try to gain a little bit of life from the authority in the meantime. I would love to play Ketramose first before we start exiling things. My goodness, engine has been started. Death Baron. It's Zombie Tribal. They have a 3/3. They whack us in the head with a 3/3. I don't love that. There's the 3rd land. Are we so bold as to Ketramose? I think we are. We'll take 5 this turn. And try to claw our way back in the game. Could also kill the Lich Lord. Or the Baron this turn instead. Or just like flank and block the Lich Lord. That's pretty good, honestly. Maybe that's the play. Flank, block, gain 2 life, scry 2, try to hit land, try to Beza. Make a bunch of blockers. 2/2 black zombie, max speed. Okay, sure. That works for me. Here comes a flanker. Man, we want one of these lands, don't we? I guess we'd have to play Ketramose this turn. We'd love the untapped land to just Beza right now. Is it too greedy to go for? We could exile the Death Baron this turn. I guess that's fine. I guess. I'll tolerate it. Take the block. Yeah, I think we're just anointing here. Cease and desist could be useful to take cards out of their graveyard. They're actually running Reanimator. Oh, just you. We can slow down speed if we kill you. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't mind picking off... Oh, we lose life anyway. Whoops. Off the Pain Lamp. That's too bad. Should have taken the Death Baron then. Okay. It's definitely Beza time. Honestly, it doesn't seem that bad. Especially with Ketramose all the way. First removal spell. But since it did it in that order, we get the fish as well. Which is a mistake on their part. An interesting sequencing. If you commit a crime, create 2 tap 2/2s. This is fine to chump. This is Menace. Alright, I'll take 3. Yeah, that's fine. Speed up to 4. There's only for a card. Put it into your hand. During your turn, eh? Guess we'll take these guys. Draw a card. Draw another card. Well, although they don't have a note with Affliction for... Oh my gosh, what is that? Start your engines. Max speed at the beginning of your end step. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. We're just looking for a single sweep. You can get jumped. That's fine. Take 3 from the Menace Baron for now. Zombie Cat Knights. You don't say. Okay. Draw 2. Gain some life. Ketramose really trying to show up here. It's a little bit much, dude. I don't need that many of you. That's the card we want, though. We're good. We just hang out. We take 1 block versus the... versus the 4/4. Take 10, draw 13, 14 damage. Drop almost to 0. Sweep the board. And then what do we want out of their deck? They have 5 mana. Probably anything that can reanimate. Maybe all the Zers. Let's see what they get here. Or if they just get another Lord to put on pressure. Okay. Pick 14. Drop to 5. Triple Ketramose. Liliana. That does play around the sweeper. Otherwise doesn't impact us too much. It does kill Ketramose as well. Okay, goodbye. We could power up the Restless Fortress here, but that actually attacks down Liliana eventually, maybe. We have backups anyway. Well, it's a lot of zombies. This is giving us life gain. Alright, let's try this out. Here's Cease. What are we taking? Really anything that can reanimate. How much space? I don't think they should be able to run that many. Let's take this guy. Sure, you guys can go. Just a bunch of zombie stuff. Nothing particularly exciting. Or like, I don't know, noteworthy. Slasher's gonna be a huge pain in the ass though. Okay, we have a 4/4. that is indestructible. It's not too bad. And we have the creature land.
Drop it.
Comes in tapped. Face damage.
Whatever. Luck favors the foolish, after all.
Can try to have them sack a non-token creature, but they can power up the chariot in response. Or we just kill the chariot. That also has to die here. I mean, I think Zur has to die more than anything else. I think you just eat this damage. Sack a non-token creature. Let's go get Zur plus. I don't know who else doesn't want to come back. Maybe Giza. Gain some life, draw up. That's pretty nice. Draw off Beza. Cool. Swing for 4 lifelink. Another Giza, my goodness. They're kind of almost dead though. This guy's Menace. All these guys got Menace. The next Beza. Not that bad. I guess we have lethal here though. Okay. Hot damn. Down to 1. I feel like we need the Golgari creature land in here. On the draw. With really no early interaction or sweep. So I think you have to mulligan this. It's too weird. You lose it too much. This is identical, but maybe worse. At least we have Beza for turn 4. Definitely worse. I suppose we'll keep the Ketramose. Just in case it can recoup some of the original cost of mulliganing. Alright, we're potentially well positioned against that. In the long game. If we can survive long enough. Which we might be able to. 1 damage to the face. I think we'll hold off on Anoint if we can. Sure. Super slow. Child of Bottom. I don't really know what that name is supposed to mean. It's synth time. Alright, well, we know exactly what we're digging for. I guess we'll Ketramose and draw that way. Hopefully I don't just exile it immediately. So we can exile the tokens for a little while. And then we could Kutzil Flanker, exile our own graveyard to Oh, the Scry 2 is better? I guess they're very similar. 1/1 colorless thing. Okay. I think we can start with the exile and the draw. How good is Beza here? I'd love to get a draw off Beza first. I think we'll start with a draw and exile. See what happens. Could play a tap land this turn. Nope. Token's not put into exile. My bad. Okay. That was a whiff. There goes Ketramose. Beza draw could still be nice here. They don't play anything else. Nesting Bot from hand, down to 3 cards in hand. We top deck the land, we do. We do get to Beza in here. Draw card, gain life, make a bunch of blockers. And there's the magic card. So we just block for as long as possible. And then when all hope has left, we can wipe the board. We'll have to do it with the bot though as well. I guess ideally we don't let this thing become a land. No, it's an artifact land. That's no problem. So as long as we can survive and just continue to wait them out. Maybe we still need the land to do it. So I guess we'll flank here and take the scry. We do need one more land. Alright, land comes in tap, so they can't use it this turn. Not that that really matters to us. Okay, let's begin with the Scry 2. Yeah, we don't need either of these. If we left this on top, we'd just draw, but it doesn't really matter that much. We just need the land. Technically, we don't need to block everything. If we don't hit the land here, we're really screwed. I guess we Beza again. Plus Anoint. Maybe it's not that bad. Okay. Down to 22. Speed up to 3. If we really want to kill the nesting bot, we could. I don't think it's that important, though. Plus, we could save it till we get Ketramose back. Your land is tapped. You made that choice. Oh my gosh. Protection from multicolored. Okay. We'll see how that goes. Alright, deck. It's time. 26 lands. Show me the next one. No. Okay. Hard mode. I mean, we want the draw off Beza. So we actually need to cast... It's impossible to do, right? Alright, it's just Beza then. No draws. Just jump blocks. We got a treasure though, so we are set up for next turn if we can live one more turn. We go block, block, block. Take 11, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Drop to 3. Oh, they destroy that? Okay. Drop to 3. We still have to deal with the nesting bot. What does that do? Let's see. +2/+2, Death Touch, and Lifelink. I don't see Trample, which is what I'm looking for here. It does pump up the damage by quite a bit, though. So now we're probably taking lethal damage here. We might be forced to use Anoint with Affliction, which is okay. And top deck the land. It could still happen. Sack a creature. One fewer thing to block. Death Touch and Lifelink is just fine. Okay, what do we got going on here? 2 blocks. Block here, block 15, block you. So that is currently 19, 20, 23. We don't have to do a single thing here, right? Let's double check. 19, 20, 23. I think we dropped to 1. We tap out, and they even got rid of the nesting bot, so we should be fine. This thing doesn't have haste, does it? Unearth. With haste. God, come on. We'll have Ketramose, but he won't be doing jack shit. Oh man, I think we have to use the Anoint with Affliction here. I mean, in that case, we'll block someone else. That's very sad, right? They just unearth it next turn. Yeah, I think it's got to be this, sadly. Alright, so once again, we have to top deck the land. Burn our poor treasure. Ow. Show me the untapped land. We got a lot of them. Probably got like 20 of them in the deck. Something like that. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Give it to me. Give me the untapped lands. I don't want to see a fast land. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Don't do it. And we lose. Yeah, there's nothing we can do. There's really nothing we can do. That is such a sad way to go. Well, sucks. On the draw with removal. 26 lands, we'll get there. It's mono red. Lovely, we got nothing on 1. Go crazy. Ooh, not mono red. Is it discard? I don't think they play like hexproof, so I think we can just anoint on their turn. I think. You don't run into this deck that often, but that's my understanding of it. No cycling. I mean, we'll do this anyway. One threat gone. Opponent does nothing here. Yeah, we could just land the Ketramose and start getting draw value off of it. If they're not going to put pressure on us, I will take my time. Okay. Artifact. That's a card. Flanker, we could scry, we get the exile draw. Don't need to do any of it this turn. I think we'll just take the draw. So we'll exile our own graveyard. It's only on our turn, though. I guess we're taking the scry then. Okay, here comes pressure. A little shock. Torch Tower, sure. It's another card exiled for us. I don't think we need either of these. Ghost Vacuum is a free way to trigger stuff. I don't think we really need either of those right now. What do we want to do? I guess we could Ghost Vacuum and Cease and Desist this turn. Let's try to get the Ketramose going. Maybe that's not so bad. Let's start here. Let's life, draw a card up to 3. Okay. Oh, we could play the flanker now just for pressure. It's a little more efficient. Exile our own graveyard, yeah. Ketramose, draw a card. Authority, probably not relevant in this matchup, maybe. Get away from the next land. In theory, we could cease and desist away the endurance monuments if we think that's really an issue. If that's a core part of their strategy, and it's their only way to draw back into the game, I think that's fairly reasonable. You have 4 toughness. What do we do about you? Let's start with a Ghost Vacuum draw. Okay, 0 mana, draw a card. That's not so bad. That's quite nice. Definitely deals with this issue. Might as well attack here first, I suppose. Maybe they won't go for it. Take the block. Well, that means we can just virtue it away. Think a first strike. Ward 2. Alright, that's fine. Seven cards in exile. I guess we could play Authority. I mean, the only reason not to is if we plan to cease and desist, but it doesn't really seem that important. Maybe we'll get a little bit of life gain up before it becomes relevant. Big discard turn. Yeah, maybe we do cease and desist all the artifacts away. Do the last Ghost Vacuum, get up to 7, turn on Ketramose, then destroy all artifacts. It's too bad this has to happen during your turn. It's definitely a lot of value. Okay. Hopefully they play the next monument here. We can take 3 of them in one go. There's the last one. I mean, it assumes we hit the last land on time. We do. We are great at this game. Okay. Let's take something first. I don't think it really matters what we take, right? Pretty sure it does not. Turn on Ketramose. Have a nice hearty swing here for 4. And then destroy all artifacts and enchantments. There goes your entire game plan. Now what? 3 monuments down, 1 to go. We're sitting at 16 with a 4/4 lifelinker. We got a little haste, trample haste going on. And Kaito. Planeswalkers are tricky. Luckily we have the Restless Cottage though. So if they attack us, we're pretty set to attack them back.
Follow me, Pom Pom John.
They do attack us. This thing die at the end of combat?
Your secrets will be mine.
Alright, looks like a cottage turn here. Take out Kaito. Scoop. Yeah, let's go. Cease and desist. Very nice. Alright, thank you for staying to the end. If you enjoyed today's video, you can leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.